Yeah, turn it down.
Oh, that was working.
So so we will start this second day session with a presentation from GemTalk. And so welcome, Dave.
Well, we're happy to be here. GemStone, now GemTalk, for those of you that have followed our company. We're quite resilient. We have been in business since 1982, but we've attended all of the ESUGs, I believe, since '93. Some of the GemStone people here, now GemTalk, Dale Hendricks, some of you might know. James Foster is here. And I believe Martin McClure is here somewhere. He's in the building. He's in the building. There's Georg.
Good morning.
Morning. And Suzanne, Mike Taylor, I see a lot of friends. I'm Dan Ware, and again, pleased to be here. I thought we'd take you through. Norm Green is with me, our Chief Technical Officer. Some of you may know Norm. He and I started together in the mid-'90s and built the Smalltalk technology and expanded it out to the large customers together, built the organization. So I thought what we do today is give you a little bit of a history of how we're here today. Our focus is on Smalltalk. We're very proud to be a Smalltalk engineering company. And we thought we'd take you through just a few of the successes we've had with our customers, as well as the technical roadmap of what we're doing with the product. Some years ago, we made a migration with one of our largest customers, OOCL, which is a big shipping company, from 32-bit to 64-bit. And that 64-bit platform has really been an excellent decision for us, and one that we use today. And that is what has really allowed us to expand out into these markets with our product and these very mission-critical large customers, with our partners, of course. And so that platform is the one that we run today. Norm and I are on a tour right now visiting our top 20 customers around the world. So I thought I'd give you just a little preview of what some of them do. For those of you that attended the STIC conference in Arizona, there might be a little repetition here, so I apologize. But for those of you that haven't seen it, hopefully this is new information and some good information. So GemStone, now GemTalk, the name change, some of you know we sold GemStone. It's been the third time. As I said, we're quite resilient. For some of you that may recall, we sold GemStone to Brocat in 2000 at the height of the .com. I called it some drunken sailors that came into the United States from Germany and bought the company for 12 times revenue, and acquired Blaze Software in a three-way merger for about $1 billion. Needless to say, about 2001, the markets crashed, and I led a management buyout to buy GemStone back from Brocat and Blaze Software so that we could maintain GemStone. The markets had crashed so badly that Brocat was forced to sell its bonds to bondholders in Germany and forced to divest all of its acquisitions in the United States, of which we were one. So we bought that back in... Some of you may recall the name Servio. Does anyone in this room go back that far with Servio Logic? Servio was the name of the company from its founding days. I joined in '94 and pretty quickly changed the name to GemStone. I went home to my wife and said, "What do you think about Servio?" And she said, "I don't know, it sounds kind of like the Italian sunglasses company, or maybe gynecologist. It's not really sounding very good to me. Like, we think you should change that. It's like Cervix, Servio." So we did change it to the name of the product, which was GemStone. And our customers had used GemStone all those years, so we changed it to GemStone, and then of course bought it back here in 2001. We then rebuilt the company, and we had two products at that point. We had the Smalltalk product, which was GemStone S, that some of you may know well. We also built a product for the new markets called GemFire. And we rebuilt the company after a lot of financial crisis, and in 2008 another crisis in the markets. And so we were moving along, and then we got the attention of VMware in May 2010. Was on an acquisition to acquire companies for their new platforms in virtualization of data. Some of you know VMware. They had virtualized the hardware layer quite well, and it built a $4 billion enterprise company on hardware virtualization, but they hadn't attacked the data layer to virtualize the data on top of the hardware. That's where the real power comes, is when you virtualize the data on the enterprise across any platform. So they acquired GemStone in 2010. When you find, I don't know if you've worked in large companies, but I kind of liken it to life on an aircraft carrier. It's a big company. They're constantly shifting and moving position. In the last 2 years, VMware acquired 20 companies, some for well over $1 billion. And so what you typically find is they make strategic shifts and moves. And although they loved the Smalltalk technology, it just wasn't a high enough growth business for them. They want triple-digit growth. I mean, this is a nice business, but for VMware, it wasn't deemed strategic or high growth enough. For us, it's very strategic and excellent growth. So I presented to their senior management when I was there that if they couldn't focus on it and take the time to nurture that business, that we would prefer to have it back. And so that led to conversations that lead us to today, which is GemTalk acquisition back from VMware in May. Here's our team. This is our core engineering team. We have several engineers. We have networks of engineers numbering 17 to 20, but some of the folks you see here today, as I mentioned, James is here, Dale's here, and Martin came in after his morning coffee, and Martin's now here. Martin, where'd you go? Right there. Oh, there he is. So Martin's here, longtime engineers. This is our core team that built the company. You may recognize some of their names. This group here you'll see on our website is some principal engineers with Alan and Bob and Dale, but hold 9 patents and 14 trademarks in some very deep technology areas that many of you know well: virtual machines, garbage collection, referential integrity algorithms. So we've built some very strong systems. The system we have today, the 64-bit system, is probably the strongest, most durable database on the planet, and we get higher marks than IBM and Oracle day in and day out with our large customers in terms of its resilience. So this is our core team that we have built the company on. And then, of course, we did the acquisition from VMware. And VMware is actually a very positive acquisition. You can see a quote from their senior vice president there. They really wanted to put it in the right hands. And again, that's where we focus. And when we bought it back, we were able to focus entirely on the Smalltalk technology, which is our core mission. And we won't be diverted or defocused in any other ways. As you know, VMware, if you follow them, did some reorganizations, and they announced a pivotal company that is now separate from VMware. They are owned by EMC, which also owns Pivotal and VMware. And so you have a lot going on there. Pivotal is now a separate software company under Paul Moritz, who came from Microsoft, to focus on software virtualization and cloud. And they're very focused on Hadoop and big data and cloud infrastructure technology. So this made sense for them, but for us it was putting it back in the right hands, which is where it is today. So just a little bit about the business. Some of you may not know. GemStone runs 20% of the world's shipping containers. When we built our product for the shipping industry with OOCL, which is the Orient Overseas Container Line, in 1994, this company built its entire logistics system on GemStone. That was the 32-bit platform back then. They spent many years and much R&D to get ready for Y2K, which they did successfully, and took it off the mainframe in a fully distributed environment in 2000. What they also did, which is great for us, is when Hong Kong was given back to the Chinese, the chairman of this company became the governor of Hong Kong. He then sold that product to his friends in Shanghai at the China Ocean Shipping Company, which is the third largest shipping company in the world in Shanghai. Norm and I have just been there last 2 weeks ago to meet the CIO. They're very, very pleased. They've been with us for 10 years, roughly. And then it was sold one more time to the largest Japanese shipping company, the Nippon Yusen Keisha line in Tokyo. So, next slide, Norman. We basically run the logistics for 20% of the world's shipping containers on GemStone S64. We run the entire company. This is not just an application. We're running the logistics of that company, all the movement of the freight, all the contents of these containers, all RFID. We stack and rack these on these ships as they go into ports of call. So you're stacking and racking these in the proper order. We track them by customs. We track them by country. We track the profitability by item, by container, 90 days ahead of any competitor. This is basically, has received the Smithsonian Award for Technology in the United States. It also is considered the FedEx of the shipping business. Okay, so that runs on GemStone, GemTalk 64. We are in several verticals. We were just at JPMorgan on Friday. They run the world's largest exotic derivative system on the GemStone platform. It's called Capital for somebody that know that system. It runs about $3 billion in profit, running somewhere around 7,000 trades per second. Fully concurrent, fully backed up, all referential integrity of all trades. There's a picture of the trading floor I'll show you in a minute. Before I do, we'll be at UBS in Zurich Friday. As one of our top visitors, also on Friday, UBS runs all of their semi-precious metals trading, all gold, all silver trading on the planet. They run somewhere around $3 billion per day in trades on exotics and also precious metals, and that's been there for some time. ICE is the world's largest electronic energy trading company. They're the company that took the Enron business when Enron failed. They run the largest Brent crude and oil trading system in the world. They recently bought the International Petroleum Exchange in London, and they are looking currently to buy the New York Stock Exchange. This is a very large electronic trading platform. They run all of their concurrency and trade settlement on GemStone S64, and we'll be visiting them here this year. And then we're going down to Africa on Saturday. Momentum Life and the Rand Merchant Bank is in South Africa. They're running all of their wealth management and life insurance on the platform. So very strong financial line of business as well. And these are, unlike the shipping industry, these are where seconds and milliseconds really matter. So when we ported to the 64-bit platform, we're able to put the database in memory. Of course, is the fastest compute region that you can work in. And we're able to do that in millisecond, microsecond speed with thousands of concurrent trades simultaneously transacted in the GemStone platform. So GemStone S is very strong there. This is a picture of the trading floor that we run for JPMorgan. So it's very, very complex, very high-end, one of the most durable applications on the planet. We met the managing director. They're extremely happy with it. They just committed for another 5 years in terms of their maintenance and professional services, and are extremely pleased with it. So we had a very positive meeting with them in London on Friday. Another vertical we have is this manufacturing vertical. So the product is not just built for any, as many of you know that are good object technologists, it's really the platform that gives you the power and your ability to build applications on top of that platform. And so this is another vertical that's very strong for us. Texas Instruments, being one of the more name recognizable, built eight wafer fabs around the world running on GemStone. They actually one of our first customers, TI, in well, I think it was 1984, if I'm not mistaken. They were an early lab for GemStone in the days where Smalltalk looked like it was going to go in this direction with IBM and HP behind it. And even though McNeely and Son came and trumped it with Java, we're still seeing a strong resurgence of the Smalltalk community. And actually, there's being a case being made right now for a resurgence into pure objects. There's two languages that are emerging that are people are saying are superior to Java. One is called Scala. If you follow a company called TypeSafe, you'll see a new language that's very interesting out of the Silicon Valley. And of course, Ruby is an interpretive language like typesets, like Smalltalk, are getting some prominence. And so it's not that far out of the question that we'll see a back to the future trend towards pure object technology and Smalltalk-like languages. Java is proving not to be as resilient as it was marketed to be. And it's just not as good a language as pure object technology as Smalltalk or Scala. So that's nice. We won these wafer fabs. A picture of it here, this wafer fab can't go down. It can only be maintenanced 30 minutes a year at Christmas. That's the only time it can go down. That's how resilient it has to be. If you go down, every minute you go down in a clean room or a fab is $30,000 for every minute. That's your penalty you pay in production and profit. So it just can't go down. So we have 30 minutes every year to do all of our maintenance updates for TI in Dallas at Christmas. And that's it. That's all they give us. We've done that with them for 20 years. They love us. Never gone down. Best system they have at TI according to them as far as resilience and durability. So that's been great for us. Some of you might know Florida Power and Light. That's been a hallmark customer for us for years. I'm working with them right now. The top 15 customers, there's only 2 left that haven't converted to 64-bit. Well, 3. JPMorgan, but they committed and they're converting the next 9 months. They're the last financial holdout. TI and Florida Power and Light are the last 3 standing of our top 15. So we're working to give them a gentle nudge into the 64-bit world, and TI is somewhat reluctant because it works so well. They just don't want to take any time to do anything upgrade-wise, but we're working gently with them, and Florida Power and Light as well. For some of you know Ian Gilchrist and Chris Perez and some of the guys that have been down and around there, they're going to have us in this year to talk about migration path to 64-bit. But we have to build a business case for that, obviously. But we run all the trouble call management for them. We do all the hurricane tracking for Florida Power and Light. And when Katrina hit, you had tens of thousands of people down, and their call centers were overloaded. IBM went down, Oracle went down, GemStone stayed up. We stayed up with somewhere around 200,000 calls coming in all at once into the trouble call system. We managed those calls, dispatched trouble call systems, managed the trouble calls, managed the resolution better than any of the other vendors. So the CIO, again, gave us the #1 rating of all the databases at FP&L. That's how we stay in these companies. For those that say, well, Smalltalk's dead, you should sunset it, I have news for you. It's actually growing. And we'll make a case here shortly for where we're going to grow the Smalltalk business. So that's the next vertical is Telecom. We just were at Siemens yesterday in Vienna. Siemens is just now recommitted to GemStone for the call center and inventory control systems for Telecom. But they're using it beyond that. They're going to take it to other verticals for meters, utilities, and some other areas. So Siemens is also on 64-bit. And they have worked closely with Telecom Argentina. We will be going down to the FAST conference. For those of you that know that the Smalltalk group in Argentina is very prolific. And so the Federación of Argentina Smalltalk is in November. We'll be down there and also visiting the CIO from Telecom Argentina, who is now converting to 64-bit and a very strong, again, play in the telecom space. Hopefully we can grow that. Siemens is now forecasting a doubling of this business over the next 5 years. We're putting a real effort into it. And of course, we receive between 8 and 15% royalties for their sales of that product. So to talk about growth, where GemStone and GemTalk will get growth is through the value-added reseller channel. It'll be through indigenous growth like JPMorgan needing more licenses. It'll be through mergers and acquisitions of our large accounts into other verticals. The key area for us is really right here is the next big area, is to get the universities to teach Smalltalk. And we're going to make an effort to get universities, which we have many, but we need more, to actually put Smalltalk on an object-oriented curriculum in the schools. We need to seed the market so we get some Smalltalk starts coming up from engineering, from students in the universities that can see the next generation of applications. That's really the effort we need to make to continue the growth from the areas I mentioned also to complement that. There's one of the telecom server farms. Again, these systems can't go down. You've got, it's like a Google farm. You've got rows and rows of stack and rack systems that can't go down that service all of Argentina's telecom requirements. So it's very critical and critical applications, and they simply can't go down. And finally, before I finish my piece, we're in the government, which is nice to have. It gives some of our customers confidence we have a government vertical. We've been in the government for some time. The National Security Agency and its counterpart is Communications Security for Canada. They do the signals, electronic intelligence, look for bad guys really fast using 64-bit technology. So you can do a complex event query, data correlation, and try and track signals and bad people. The other parts of them is handling the border control. We handle all of the immigration for the country of Norway. We handle all of the agricultural analysis for the country of Holland. And so we have this government aspect using 64-bit technology for several applications in the government. Canada being probably the most growth-oriented. This one is actually growing. It's started here. It's now growing to running all the correctional institutes in Canada. So they like us in Ottawa. We're going to go up there here in November and visit with them and continue that relationship, which again will be a growth opportunity for us. Our partners are very important. Two of them are here right in the back of the room there with Suzanne and Mike. We have got others here that we've had and are growing. And that partner channel helps us also grow the business. We'd like to strengthen those relationships and see where we can do joint selling and actually share in the revenue with our partners. So I want to spend some time on that this year and reach out to everybody and see where we can collaborate a little bit more. So here's our summary from my presentation. We power mission critical apps that can't fail. GemStone customers are an excellent company. They can be rest assured that we're in multiple verticals with multiple forward-thinking innovations in 64-bit. We have all the front-end platforms that you can imagine for both social media, collaboration, web, and of course any other interface that you need. We've got a great engineering team that's I would say is proudly is one of the best on the planet. They've been together 20 to 30 years, very strong at what they do. In Oregon, where we built our company, we have very low. We put it in Oregon because of two things. We didn't want to be in the Silicon Valley because it's too expensive to live there, and you have too high attrition because they're constantly pirating each other from technologists. So we have a less than 4% attrition rate, probably 2% in our company. What it means is because we have a higher quality of life and a lower cost of living in Oregon, which is in between California and Washington, we call it the Silicon Forest up there between Microsoft and Silicon Valley. So we have what we call the Silicon Forest because we have big trees, and we grow great engineers up there. And they love it because the cost of living is lower, quality of life is extremely high, and because of that, the attrition is very low. And that's how you can build a team like that that's been together almost 30 years. And those algorithms get very, very highly tuned, as you can imagine, over that time frame. So our core engineers of 13 engineers are very, very strong, and that's why we produced this great product. We're positive business right now, very strong. Not triple-digit growth like VMware wanted, but we're very comfortable with our growth and what we're doing in the company. And my message is we're here to stay and flourish. So thank you for listening to that. I can take any questions before we turn over to Norm for the other piece.
So
Not working.
okay. So here in Europe, at least, the NSA scandal was pretty high weight. So you, as an American company, must be always subjected to some kind of providing backdoors for the NSA and having secure systems selling from the US. Do you see any problems coming from that?
We haven't seen any backlash from that. I don't know, as far as security in terms of building in various security mechanisms, have you had our customers inquire technically?
No calls from the NSA yet.
You're not allowed to tell us.
I couldn't tell you if we did.
Now, Norm held a top secret clearance in Canada, and I held a top secret in the USA, but we still don't have access to the gray rooms. But we haven't seen or heard, no one's mentioned it, to be honest with you, even though it's in the press. We haven't had any questions about the usage of that product in the NSA or the CSC, which is a Canadian counterpart. Now they do encryption, there's signals intelligence, there's electronic intelligence, there's also human intelligence aspects of these businesses, but yeah, we're not privy to that information. But they are a good customer. They pay their bills.
So I just have a testimony, because you said that you want to have more small talkers. So just to show you something really concrete that we did this year, we invited a student volunteer that is from Cameroon. He's around here. We told him, okay, we have 1,000 euros, we can invite you to come in our lab, because he contacted me for related to Moose. Okay, come, but if you come, you should be a bit better in small talk. So read before. So he came, he enjoyed things, I told him, if you want, we can help you to give a lecture. So I gave him all my slides, I gave him the old ESUG2013. We will ship some books, because now he will start a lecture with a 60 hours lecture in Cameroon. So this is the things, the concrete things that we are doing. Last year I went to do a lecture in Ukraine. This year I will do a lecture in Ukraine. I will do a lecture in Prague also, because people told me that they were doing business in bank with Faro, and I said, oh wow, why? And do you have teachers around? And so yes, so from that perspective we should talk.
Yes, we'd love to.
Yeah.
We'd love to support you. I mean, we will provide free licenses as far as taking calls on maintenance. However you feel, we can support the people.
So from that perspective, so last year at ESUG I said yes, I would like to have more small talk lecture in foreign country. The problem right now is that in the region where this guy is living, this is where they were taking French, and so we cannot go there. This is forbidden. And just to give you an idea how difficult it is, he told me, oh yes, we got blackout, it's 2 hours to go to the 2 days to go to the capital. During 1 week they have no electricity, so we should adapt to these people, and that's important. So we will, for example, we will ship books there, because this is something really concrete that they can have.
Well, we would help you with
So
documentation and all of that. I'd like to get your contact information. Great. So Norm, you want to take it over?